I'm doing my project on Frank Lloyd Wright. He was an architect born in 1867 and died in 1959. His early life. Wright was born in the farming town of Richland Center, Wisconsin in 1867. As stated by Wright in his autobiography, his mother had believed her son would grow up to build beautiful structures. His mother, a teacher, started his education with some geometric building blocks called friabogifs. He spent a lot of his childhood playing with these blocks and assembling them in different shapes to create three-dimensional compositions. This time in his life molded his thoughts by playing with these blocks. It is seen in his architectural career as a high amount of his creations are notable for their geometric shaping. The picture is of a sphere, a cylinder, and a square, and these are the blocks that he would play with. His family life. Frank was originally born with the middle name of Lincoln, but he later changed it to Lloyd to honor his mother's side of the family. Frank's father, William, was an orator, music teacher, lawyer, and minister. His mother, Anna, worked as a county school teacher and was where she met William. Their marriage took a turn for the worse when Frank turned 14. Frank and his family moved a couple times in order for William to find a steady job and support his family. When Frank was 14, William and Anna separated because of William's lack of stability to support their family. In 1885, the divorce was finalized when William sued Anna for lack of physical affection. So he changed his middle name because his dad kind of left the family and she kicked him out, and he stayed with his mom, so he wanted his name to reflect that. His education. Wright attended Madison High School, but he never graduated. In later years, he was admitted to the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1886 as a special student. He joined a fraternity and took part-time classes for 2 semesters. He left this school without graduating or even receiving a degree. Although he was granted an honorary doctorate of fine arts from the university in 1955. His early career as an architect. Wright began his career as an architect when he moved to Chicago in search for work. In 1887, he saw the great opportunity there. In 1871, there was the big fire in Chicago, and it pretty much destroyed a lot of the city. So in 1887, when he moved there, the place didn't really get back up on its feet, and the neighborhoods were not of great architecture, and he saw this as an opportunity for him to come in and kind of leave his mark on the town and work there. So within just a few days, he was hired as a draftsman at the architectural firm of Joseph Lyman Silsby. At this firm, he was only receiving $8 a week, and he did not appreciate this, and he thought that he could do better, so he left the firm. He soon found new work at Beers, Clay, and Dutton firm. He then realized he wasn't really able to step up to that opportunity and build and do all that on his own, so he later returned back to Silsby and they gave him a raise. The works of Joseph Lyman Silsby. The first one is the William S. Warfield House. It was built in 1886. It had a stone exterior with terracotta decorations. It was a massive plan with porches surrounding the house. Second picture is Brant H. and Lucy Barber House. It was built in 1901. It had brick walls, stone foundation, and this is the way they kind of incorporated steel into the structure. Third one is Henry D. Barber, built in 1891. It was a brick and limestone composition that had some of the classical revival style to it. Middle career. In 1888, Wright found out the Chicago firm of Adler and Sullivan were looking for someone to make the finished drawings of the interior of a building. Wright showed his skills in how he could mock Sullivan's drawings, and he had a couple interviews, and he became an official apprentice of the firm. Sullivan did not show much respect to his employees, but he did take Wright under his wing as he saw some potential in him. Sullivan gave Wright major design responsibility as he trusted him. By 1890, Wright had his own office next to Sullivan's and had risen to the head draftsman and handled all residential design work in the office. Although in 1893, Wright was having some financial struggles and began to do some independent residential designing. This was just kind of to make a few extra bucks, and it was actually a breach of his contract with Sullivan. He had given him a 5-year contract to work with him, and by Wright doing this, it took advantage of him, and Sullivan had to let him go. Here's some of the works of Adler and Sullivan. The first picture is their office. You can see his office. Wright's office is right next to Sullivan's. There's one of a building that was constructed in the late 1800s. It was in Chicago. It was done with Sullivan and Adler. Career after Sullivan's. After Wright was fired from Adler and Sullivan, he started his own firm. He and a few others created the Prairie School. During this period of time, he had 2 basic models. The first was a combination of Sullivanski ornamentation with the emphasis on simple geometry and horizontal lines. This is the one that you can see in the first picture. The first picture you can see all the windows are square. All the roof and all that are all geometric straight horizontal lines. There's nothing too crazy about it. The second model for his conservative clients was more traditional dwellings. That one is just kind of a normal looking house. It's not really all geometric and everything. It's just more conservative. Some of his notable works. Wright is an architect known for pushing the limits of architecture. He is also known for his style of emphasizing simplicity and natural beauty. He believed that the building should honor and enhance the natural beauty surrounding them. Wright believed that the building should seem as if it belonged where it was standing and complemented that area. For example, this house is in the middle of the forest. It's got the river kind of under the house. All the brick seems to come from the surrounding environment, and the wood, it kind of helps shape it. So that house really looks like it belongs in that certain area. It's not kind of out of the ordinary. Another one of his notable works was the Avery Coonley House in 1907. Wright took their surroundings into thought as he constructed this house. It is a very calming environment in which he incorporated to the feel of that house. He also showed his horizontal lines in this house. It is very geometric oriented, and nothing too crazy about this one either. In this house, he also used zone planning. Zone planning is when the rooms are divided based off their function. So like the playroom is the ground level, and then the upper level had the dining room, the kitchen, the bedrooms, and then the guest houses and all that was also separated on another part. And there is the works cited.